Wonder about the future and how you'll be working and learning? Welcome to You in 2042, the future of work, with your host, Danielle Wallace.
Hello and welcome to You in 2042, the future of work. Joining me today is Sergey.
Thank you for having me, and I was happy to join this discussion. I'm an accomplished business, payments, and insurance leader with diverse background in strategy development, product management, marketing, and organizational leadership. I've had a successful career leading multiple large consumer products businesses, not only in financial services and insurance, but also consumer packaged goods and big pharma. Right now, I work in the financial services and insurance space, and in my current role, I lead a team that focuses on market analysis and uncovering new strategic insights that are important for multiple business areas like business strategy, innovation, product management, underwriting, pricing, distribution, and customer experience. And my passions are leading teams to win and inspire people to perform at their best. So on the people management side, I hire top talent, and as a people manager, try to take good care of my team.
Oh, I love that. And you really hit a chord with me about inspiring performance and leading your teams to be their best. I know we've had the privilege of working together in the past as well. So I'm just so excited that you're here today. And Sergey, I know with that extensive work history, you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of dramatic shifts in how work gets done. As we think ahead to the next 18 years, what major trends do you foresee driving the future of work?
Interesting question, Danielle, and maybe a full disclaimer that I'll express only my own opinions, and thinking 18 years out is not an easy task, but maybe to answer your question, let me try it. I personally foresee 4 major trends driving the future of work. The first one is work location. What I mean by that is remote and hybrid work evolution, including globalization of the workforce and the work itself. The second one, I would say, is automation of work processes and actual work that is currently performed by humans. And related to that, the third trend would be upskilling and reskilling of the workforce. And the last but not least, I would say, is more data-driven decisions to complement gut feel and minimize politics in decision-making.
Ooh, I like those trends. Work location with globalization, automation, the world of skilling and reskilling, and data-driven decisions, especially the latter. That really, really excites me. With so many changes in how the business operates, especially as data, as you say, we know it's so critical and central to decision-making. What impact do you believe this will have on business strategies and their competitive advantage?
Well, I think the trends that I've just mentioned will have dramatic impact on business strategies to not only gain, but even retain their current competitive advantage. Status quo, I believe, is no longer an option for any business that will have to rapidly adapt and evolve to embrace these trends in the future. So let me use a specific example related to hiring new employees. I firmly believe that employees should be the most important priority of any organization. An organization with high employee engagement on average delivers 20% better results and has a definite competitive advantage. And although achieving high employee engagement might sound simple, not many companies and teams are able to successfully get there and build a truly high-performing team because it's a lot of work. Hiring the right people is a critical component for building your team. And I faced this challenge many times myself. But how can you make sure you constantly raise the bar, hire the best person, and at the same time, minimize your risk as a people manager? Let's take one step back and see how universities make decisions on which high school student to accept. In Canada, we don't have universal test results like ACT or SAT in the US. At the same time, a high school student with a perfect average of 100% could be dramatically different in their university success versus another perfect score student from a different high school. Universities have to come up with their own systems and data sets to try to score different high schools over time and more accurately predict which student would have a higher chance of successfully graduating from that university. However, with all these efforts, sometimes more than 40% of all accepted students fail in the first year but many who were not accepted could have succeeded. So therefore, I think in the future, I believe Canadian universities will need to collaborate more and share more data to help each other make student acceptance predictions more accurate, and with more data becoming increasingly central to their decision making. And now if we transpose this university example into the business world, we often face a similar multi-dimensional challenge. So let's say if 10 people apply to your role posting, you might be fine with manual reviews and interviews, but what if 100, 1,000, or 10,000 people apply to your job posting? What are you going to do? Your HR department could have limited capacity and limited available tools, and you also have very limited time to go through all of their resumes. So the best candidates could be simply missed due to human-related factors. So in the future, I envision that new technologies will significantly help with automating many parts of the hiring process and provide significantly more assistance to hiring managers in picking the best talent. Very often, subtle cues during the interviewing process set the winning candidate apart from the rest, and the hiring teams can free time from other technology-related tasks to focus on them. Collecting and quickly analyzing all the data from candidates' university, the company's hiring process, performance management reviews after a person joins the company, and all other parts of the employee experience, I think this should enable a much easier and even more successful hiring process for new job applicants in the future.
That's an interesting point, because there is so much data that's there that's not being shared, whether it's amongst universities, like you're saying, or whether it's even harnessed in an organization. We're not there. While the technology could exist, I've not seen it widespread yet. And yet the point you're making is that we can, like, this is such a real future where we can actually harness this data so we can make better decisions. Like in the university example of 40% of those often fail in their first year. Like there's actual tangible outcomes that we can achieve if we are using and harnessing data to this end. I think there's a lot of play that this future world may hold. So given this rapid change in both the technology world and considering your interest in technology and business analytics, how do you see emerging technologies like AI and advanced data analytics reshaping business decisions?
Yeah, it's a great question, Danielle. Maybe let me continue the hiring theme that I started in the previous answer. And so imagine if, let's say that a new remote job candidate whom you interview exhibits perfect behavior during phone and virtual interviews and sends you perfect thank you notes. You could be very pleased with them. And at the same time, what if they use AI tools every step of the way to impress you? And, when they start working, they fail miserably from day one. In the future, I see emerging technologies assisting hiring managers with accurately identifying such fake candidates before they're hired and helping hiring managers pick the best candidates without any biases. Self-learning data models will quickly analyze social media profiles, other public data, and previous work to gauge a candidate's personality, interests, and likelihood of success in a role. Millions and millions of records, including internal employee performance-related ones, will improve model predictability and should help even in the most difficult cases with a cold start. And what I mean by cold start is a situation when almost no job applicant data is available as a starting point. So as you get more data, you have to store it somewhere. And that's where I believe cloud computing should help not only with reducing costs, but also simplifying data availability, which should lead to better human collaboration, innovation, and speed to market. For example, if now it takes you 6 months to pull a large data set from your corporate data lake and $500,000 to analyze it, how far are you going to get? And now imagine in the future, you could do it instantly via an interactive AI model and with almost no cost.
So that's pretty amazing. And I love the perspective you're bringing to this, given your experience with technology and business analytics. So with that at play, what steps or experiences should other individuals or organizations be taking now to prepare for the future?
I think I'll separate individuals and organizations. So for individuals, I believe upskilling and reskilling will be critical to my earlier point about the trends. One of the key reasons why Canada's labor productivity has been lagging behind the US is a gap in employee skills, and especially in digital literacy and technical skills, which includes working with data. For example, most people know how to use Microsoft Office applications. So take your knowledge to the next level and learn Power BI, Python, or any other analytics-related tools. And for organizations, thinking globally and long-term should prepare them well for the future. I think for global thinking, I can illustrate a couple of examples from my work experience. When I worked in consumer packaged goods, we had to produce TV commercials for brand advertising. This was always challenging because of limited budgets, especially when you had to deal with multiple languages. Lip syncing was another issue for local markets like Quebec. If Quebec represents only 2% of your North American sales, it's hard to justify shooting a separate TV commercial just for that market. When you have to deal with the lip syncing issue that local consumers in Quebec notice and do not appreciate. At the same time, if you shoot a commercial in another country like Mongolia, for example, the whole production could cost you only $10,000. In North America, you could pay $1 million for the same piece. So, thinking and acting globally could bring dramatic advantages to your team, including using modern technologies. And in that case, AI should also help with effectively addressing the lip syncing issue, which could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in production costs, not only now, but even 18 years from now. And for the second point of thinking longer term, I believe that today's technology advancements are just the beginning of the journey ahead of us. AI is on everyone's mind, but not everyone realizes that right now it could cost millions of dollars to implement just one AI model in an organization. After implementation, you have to retrain it with new data from time to time, which could take months as well as additional investments. A combination of AI implementation and other technology investments can add up very quickly and create exponentially growing technical debt, even for newer and smaller businesses. In the future, it will be very important not to look at each AI model or technology investment in isolation. I think organizations should look at how that model interacts with other AI models across their whole organization. And the bigger picture is using AI or machine learning first approach at the whole organizational level. This approach would result in much better interactions across multiple systems and processes within a company and across the whole customer journey. For example, agentic AI could eventually automate multiple steps within complex processes currently performed by humans and help create an environment when multiple AI models work together as one interconnected system. In the future, I believe that these company systems will start interacting with other player systems at the industry, country, and even global levels. And in conclusion, I would like to come back to the hiring the right people example that we discussed earlier. The need for clear job descriptions, accountabilities, and performance objectives would serve as great inputs into both hiring and retention, including performance management. No AI can replace a human to ensure that the job posting is written well and with full clarity. Investing time into writing a great posting will pay off many times and attract great talent pool of candidates. For example, in one of my postings, changing only one word resulted in a very different pool of candidates to apply. In addition, when I optimized the original generic wording with very precise and clear description, both my candidate response rate and quality of candidates saw dramatic improvements. In the future, I envision AI assisting in this process by analyzing large sets of data to optimize job descriptions, including recommending phrasing that appeals to a target audience and identifying keywords that will improve posting visibility on search engines and job boards. So the future looks very exciting.
I appreciate your insights. Sergey, you're always on this leading edge of innovation, but balanced with practical application focus for businesses. So you're always bring through what we can be aspiring to with one foot in today, but what can we do today? Sergey, thank you so much. Great, amazing insights. And I think we all have so much to benefit from in everything that you have to say.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Danielle. It was a pleasure discussing these points with you and look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you for being a part of the future. Subscribe now to stay current.